All right, welcome back everyone to Hell 2. We have a new talk lined up. So the unique part of Qwik is not in what it does, but how it achieves its goals, and that's claims Daniel here, who is a software senior principal engineer at Dell. That's a long title, by the way. And he will show us too with some live coding sessions comparing Qwik and other JavaScript frameworks. So Daniel is a meetup organizer, like Angular Heroes is one of his endeavors. He's a volunteer at Tech Career, which is a nonprofit organization that targets to attain and advance professional careers in Israel's high tech for Ethiopian Israeli young adults. And I think you were a host today and yesterday as well, right? So we're
I was a host yesterday, the entire day on the Hall 7, and I just came 5 minutes ago from
exactly. You just ran out of his session. For everyone watching, like now he seems like relaxed and all put together, but he like entered the studio like. But I'm glad you got some time to get some water and a coffee from a coffee machine that makes a really odd noise, but you will not hear this as attendees. And whenever you're ready, please take it away. I'm very curious about your presentation today.
Thanks. I'm ready. Hello, everyone. So yeah, my name is Daniel Ostrovsky, and I'm a senior principal at Dell. Today we're going to talk about the Qwik. Is it really the world first O1 JavaScript framework or not? I will repeat about myself because I love myself, maybe. Yeah, I'm a developer more than 20 years. I'm a full cycle evangelist. I'm the public speaker, writer, open source contributor, volunteer, meetup organizer. And this is my, you can find me on Twitter or Medium, YouTube, whatever, Dando81. Just follow me. These pictures, by the way, this is my hobbies. Rock climbing, diving, and yacht sailing. Okay, so maybe I'm getting old, but lately I started thinking about the past. Okay, when I'm looking at the future, any new technology, I'm getting interested in how we came over here. What happened in the previous years, okay, 10, 20, 30 years ago, that leads us to the situation where we right now with the technologies, okay? So I want to start with the history and see how actually is the Qwik something that, you know, the evolutionary should exist, or it's something that not going to live so long time, you know, and probably in the year or two it will disappear like many other frameworks. So let's see. Back in the 1990s, I will start this, you know, before that we had dinosaurs, then become internet. I think that this is less or more the years when internet become widely adopted and, you know, it's become popular, and we started to purchasing computers, you know, in homes. Still not widely like it's now, but yet. Back in 1990s, the delivery of the websites, it was websites, it wasn't web applications, into the clients, it was static HTML pages, okay? Static HTML files was delivered fully rendered, generated on the server side by PHP, Perl, Ruby, other code languages. And it was fully generated on the server and delivered to the client. Okay, so client had nothing to do with the code, with HTML, besides just to show it. Okay, it was very performant for the client. Okay, but it had a huge but. Okay, it had a lack of interactivity, no dynamic content, and many other things are not. Okay, but that's what we had that time. We didn't have any technology then. JavaScript coming into the picture, some languages that are kind of using JavaScript that way or another one. It's in early 2000s. It brings us a limited dynamic content. It brings some limited interactivity, mainly for the form validations, image carousels, and stuff like this. But also it brings a lot of logic duplication. Okay, meaning we still need to deliver the static HTML file above it that was actually generated by still PHP, JSP, ASP, Cold Fusion. Okay, and additional to it, we were adding the JavaScript files that actually had this interactivity, and they should support, the HTML that was generated. So as soon as you create a new HTML element in PHP, you also need to ensure that JavaScript knows about it. Okay, it's not the one place where you define the elements. It's kind of logic duplication. Oops. 2005-2006, Ajax coming into the picture. Ajax actually was introduced by Microsoft 10 years before, but widely adopted it was by Google on the Gmail service. Also, jQuery coming into the picture that simplifies the work with the Ajax, the way we're working with the Ajax, and also DOM manipulations. That actually brings us a dynamic data loading, bring us partial page updates, bring us better UX, user experience for our consumers. But still, we do have the logic duplication. We still need to deliver the separately HTML files and then JavaScript, and we need to manage the large files. We didn't have some kind of concept of modularity for JavaScript files. In that time, to have JavaScript with the 2,000, 10,000 lines, that's okay. It's even not the biggest file. Okay. So the development experience was awful, and it was hard to scale, and yeah, this was like the beginning of some era, but still was everything too difficult to work with. 2010, Backbone came into the picture and introduced us the new module that's called MVC, Model View Controller. Also, together with the Backbone.js, coming AngularJS, Ember, Vue, React, and many other frameworks. And this one brings us into the era. This is actually, the golden years of single-page applications. Okay, it's also the golden years for the for SaaS platforms. Okay, there's always something that on the market, product-wise, business-wise, that pushing the technology. So SaaS platforms actually, that's what pushed the single-page application, give the huge push to the single-page application, and that's the development experience got better, and complexity scaling and static websites coming into the picture. But we still had one problem, and this problem is search engine optimization. Okay, the single-page application, not for any use case. They was mainly used by, and now they're mainly used by SaaS platforms, back office systems, something that Google, Bing, or other search engines shouldn't see what's going on inside. Okay, shouldn't be indexed by any of this. So so single page application come into the picture. We're losing search engine optimization with this, and that's okay. We don't need it there. The delivery of the application, now it's become the applications, web applications. Delivery become much easier. Okay, we have CommonJS, we have the understanding of modularity, breaking the files, separation of contents, and responsibility per component, and many other aspects and architecture-wise improvements that we have as a for development experience. Okay, but we still want to have search engine optimization, and that's where the frameworks like Svetley, Nuxt.js, and Angular Universal and others coming into the picture with the server-side rendering. That's some of what we had 30 years ago in 1990s. We have code that application generated on backend and served to the client. Okay, this lesson more where we now. Search engine optimization support for it is listed back. But we have also disadvantages. We always want to be improved, and now we have such things like hydration, and the application runs twice, and this part that we're going to talk about it now, okay? Because this is the point where we're located. You see the story, how we came, where we come from. Now we're on the circle, and let's see where we're moving forward to. Yeah, the delivery of the application right now has become much better. We have the Webpack, lazy loading, again, server-side rendering, and many other tools and technologies to deliver the application into the client in a better way, but still it can be improved, and let's see exactly how. Let's start with a single-page application and server-side rendering, okay? Single-page application in very high level. It says, we're going to deliver you a little bit of code of HTML, okay? It's empty HTML file. So I have only the link reference to JavaScript, okay? Then you need to download all the JavaScript that you have the links in the HTML. Then this JavaScript should run on your browser, okay? Run the application, and after it, the application will be rendered into your browser and will be immediately interactive, and you can use it and enjoy it. Now we have huge amount of time between accessing the page and actually be able to use it. That's why search engine optimization, Google didn't like it, okay, for indexing. So server-side rendering says, we will serve you the page already rendered, already generated by server, by backend. You will have all this HTML as soon as possible. As soon as you access the page, you will get this HTML, but it's only in HTML. It doesn't have any interaction, okay? Why? Because the application, the JavaScript, is not yet in the browser. So we need to download the JavaScript. We need to run the application to execute everything, and then we need to render it, okay? And while we render it, we need to remove the previous HTML, and actually the application will introduce, will render its own DOM elements, and the entire application will be visible and interactive. On some frameworks, we even have this flipper, the widescreen flip, when the server-side rendered HTML was switched by JavaScript rendered HTML. Sorry for thinking. I'm just thinking if I want to go to the code right now and go back. No, we'll continue with this. Yeah, so this advantage of this is duplicated data. We have the same data, the same content was served by HTML inside as part of the HTML, and also as part of the JavaScript that it was downloaded. Okay, it was kind of duplicated of data. And also we have some certain amount of time that your application is not yet interactive for you, for users, okay? Sorry for that. Okay, hydration and resumability. So, hydration. The HTML served by server into the client, not active. Download JavaScript. We have the same run application, and then the rendering part, it's actually what's called hydration. Okay, it says, sorry for that. It says that technical issue. Basically, what would happen is that the hydration uses the existing HTML on DOM elements and HTML on your browser, and it adds the all event listener and all interactivity on the existing generated already HTML files, without making this blinking and stuff, and without recompiling or recreating the DOM elements by JavaScript in the on the run application section. Same duplication of data. Of course, we have the data in the HTML, data in the JavaScript, but then it will be reused. So what is the resumability? What actually the Qwik talking about? Resumability says we will serve HTML that need to be showed for the consumer on the page as soon as the consumer requests this page, together, as a part of this HTML page, we will write the, like kind of inline JavaScript, okay, that will already give you interaction with your page, okay? And as soon as the consumer will use the page, use the application, we will download more and more JavaScript as soon as it requires. Similar to the movies, okay? When we download the movie, when we start watching the movie player downloads a little bit of 2-3 seconds of the video. And as soon as we continue watching the movie, basically it continues downloading the parts of the video stream. So it's not a video streaming, it's what's called JavaScript streaming. That's how Qwik talking about themselves, that they stream JavaScript into the client, into the browsers. Let's code. I hope I can show it. Okay, let's run the application. This is the simple application, the initial one when you just initialize the. I hope you see it. I'll try to zoom it. I don't remember if I know how to zoom it. Oh, I know. Okay, so it's a simple application, nothing complicated. Okay, looks very much like React. Okay, it's used JS6. Everyone familiar with this. Okay, it's have nothing special, just sum of state and the counter. Okay, as soon as we're clicking on the counter on the button, the counter should be updated. Nothing complicated much, but look how many JavaScript files was generated for this small application. Okay, this is the huge amount of JavaScript files that was generated. Why? Because we want to deliver everything step by step as soon as it's required by consumer and not in advance. Okay, and they're all very small, as you can see. They're all less than a kilobyte. Okay, let's look how it actually works and what actually we're doing here. Can I see the? Hold on, sorry, just trying to find the URL. Okay, I couldn't, so let's rerun it. That's what's going on with the live coding. Sometimes we have technical issues. And building for production, everything will pretty fast, or not so fast. Type checked, everything checked, and here's our website. Okay, welcome. We already had it. Okay, sorry. So this is the application. I'm clicking counters box. Now let's look what's going on behind. Okay, let's remove it. Ctrl R. This is some one of the exceptions that I have here, but look, there is no JavaScript code that was downloaded. Okay, this is one of the. Let's go to incognito mode. I think it will be much better. Okay, sorry for that one more time. Okay, network, Ctrl R. Okay, we don't have any JavaScript. All we downloaded is a HTML file. Okay, static HTML file. That's how it looks like, and some favicon. Okay, but as soon as we're clicking on the button, JavaScript being downloaded. Okay, that's what actually meaning the streaming. Okay, the JavaScript is downloaded only when consumer user needs it. Okay, not in advance. Okay. Okay, now before we going forward with actually how it's implemented, I want to show you some stuff. Okay, a collection. So it was prepared, but I didn't have. Okay, here we go. Now let's check how the single page application works before we're going back and see how the Qwik works. Okay, the single page application. This is the HTML that will be served to the client It's a static HTML, and the only one thing that it's have actually the JavaScript that holds the entire application. Okay, you can see here that in this HTML we don't have anything besides the one div element. Okay, but on the page the kind of to-do app is rendered. Okay, we can see the to-do app. We can delete, add, remove, edit, etc. So it's kind of very, very minified to-do application. And this is the JavaScript. Okay, I'm not going to go about the entire JavaScript file. It's not so big. It's pretty small. The main actions here, it's actually the render application and interactivity. Okay, the first thing that any application does is actually the render application is built based on components. It builds the DOM elements. After the DOM elements are built, it's add the interactivity into it. Okay, that's how it's worked less or more in a very simplified way. Okay, if you're not going to add interactivity, the application won't be interactive. Okay, it's not going to work. So this is the single page application. So meaning when Google comes into our website and want to crawl it and want to understand and index it, it sees only this content and doesn't say anything. Okay, so for him it's an empty page. Empty page, not interesting. That's why single page applications are not used much for websites that should be indexed in Google, should be actually easily found by Google and other search engines. So let's go back and take the single SSR. So on server side render, the HTML that coming into the client is this one. It's actually the entire HTML with the content and everything on it. Okay, and JavaScript, and of course it goes and downloads the JavaScript. Now, but the JavaScript in that case should clear the rendered file. Okay, let's see it like this. Okay, so that's what coming from the backend. Nothing, not interactive. Then we're clearing. Okay, the application it creates, it generates the application. Okay, we're clearing everything. Then we're rendering it. Okay, and then now interactive, of course, and then we will add the interactivity, event lists, and everything to make this application interactable for the user. It also takes some time, not perfect, but already better for the search engine optimization. Let's go back. Hold on. Okay. Please. All right. And this is where the hydration comes into the picture. Okay, it says, okay, we have this HTML, we have this data come from the server side, but I don't want to clear and render the new one. I will just reuse the existing one. Meaning, if it exists, I will use it. If it's not exist, I will generate. Okay, that's how it works. And then add interactivity a similar way. We all get used to it already. And now we move into the interesting part, to Qwik. Okay, let's take a look on one more time into the code that was generated, and into the Okay. Let's take a look on the code that was generated. Let's take a look on the application, and we can see here. Okay. When we download in the, let's look at the code that was downloaded. Okay. Let's zoom it. Okay. Good. So we can see here two things. Let's also view page source. Okay, now this is the page source. Let's find the button. Okay, this is the button. Okay, it's generated on the backend and sent as a static HTML. As you can see, this is actually the code that was sent from the server into the client. And we can see here that we have event listener on the button with some weird annotation of what should be done on click. Let's look in this. Okay, so we have this is looks like the JavaScript file. Sounds good. And this one looks like something that, let's look, what is this? So here's the JavaScript file. Am I right? 28b3, 28b3, this is JavaScript file. And here we have some WOWC. WOWC, you can see it's just an exported module out of this file that leads us to some definition of property that actually this is our function, okay, where we're doing the count plus plus, okay, this one. Okay, just minified and everything, and that's what we got. So the JavaScript that exists on the page, together with the HTML, knows how to handle these clicks and say, okay, I'm going to download this file, okay, this JavaScript file, and I will execute this module. Okay, let's look closer to how all this works. This is a simple interactive, okay? We have click me and we have mouse over. Mouse over, click me. Okay, this is the HTML file. And as part of this HTML file, as you can see, we have, I kind of created the HTML file like it was generated by framework, okay? This is the HTML that can be generated by Qwik framework and served to the client, okay? Button on click, name of the JavaScript file and the function that should be invoked, on mouse over, and the name of the function that should be invoked in the button. Here we have inside of the build the JavaScript, okay, and these two functions. And these two functions, as you can see, just console log and console log, and exported as modules, exported out of this function, out of this file. Okay, that's it. That's basically it. Okay, this is all the magic about it. Okay, we downloading the file. We can see it here. Okay, it's pretty long JavaScript. Okay, we download. We can, let's go. This is the quick events. Event listener click added by us. Okay, because that's what we wanna interact with click and with mouse over, and then. Where is it? Here it is. This is the action actually. Okay, you can see it takes the URL, okay, the JavaScript file, URL based, and etc. Some different configuration, but also it's got the attribute value item, okay, the JavaScript file name. Then it goes to the does the import. Okay, this is the generic, the native JavaScript function import the external URL, okay, that we're doing, the module, and then the imported module, we actually waiting till it's, because import is returns as a promise. So as soon as the module is JavaScript file is imported as a module, we by hash value, this means the name of the this part, okay, the name of the function that should be invoked, and we actually retrieving it from the JavaScript that was loaded, and we invoking it, and we just making the indentation together with the event and the element on it. Okay, so again, it's not so complicated. Okay, it's pretty simple. Okay, all we need is actually just to have the JavaScript, TypeScript, to have a HTML generated by our framework with all content on it. Together with that, we have we're adding the event listeners. Okay, this is the only JavaScript file that goes and adding the event listeners to the actionable items. Okay, but the execution and what actually should be executed, okay, it's only when users when this event fired. Okay, so we downloading the one of the main targets for the Qwik framework is to download JavaScript code as less as possible. Okay, and And that's basically it. Okay, and use and download. Oh, how is it? The pushing the time with JavaScript downloads as far as we can. Okay, and it's so basically it's only when we interact with the page and only when we need the function to be invoked, this function and this code will be downloaded. Saying all that, let's go back to our presentation, and let's see what we have. So Qwik, by the way, they released a few weeks ago, they released the first release, version 1. Congratulations. Doing a great job. It's a very interesting framework. But the main question, are they O1? Depends how you count, because anyway, you have event listeners all over the elements. But saying that, it's much faster, it's much simpler than any other framework does. And the most important part is that they do not download anything that you don't need on the specific time when you interact with the page. So you have JavaScript, and the content that you have on your page is downloaded only when you need it and not before that. Okay, so Qwik come with a lot of great things. Okay, CLI tool, one simple line, npm create will create you the application pretty fast, pretty nice. It's have a good compiler. Okay, it uses based on Rust compiler. It have old school GS6. Okay, so if you know React, basically you know Qwik. The routing system is directory based. If you want new URL, new route in your application, all you need to do is just create a new folder and put index in this folder, and that's it, and just become development in this. That actually gives you some kind of the way your application will be structured in terms of the code base. It allows you to use any React-based UI library. We are some add-on that called the Qwik React. You can use any UI library built with React. That basically opens it's new framework, but you can use the entire ecosystem, React ecosystem, and all the material designs, React, and many other functionalities and components can be used as in Qwik. And it have a unified execution model. It's mean you have in the same file, and this is actually one of the history circles. Similar like in the 30 years ago in the PHP, you had one single file where you had access to the database and the generating the HTML code. Basically, in Qwik, you can do the same. One single TypeScript that have access to the database and generates the HTML code to be served for the client. That's it. Less or more. Thank you very much. One more time, my name is Daniel. This is a Twitter and Medium. Follow me on Twitter. Okay, I have only 9,000 followers to get to the 10,000 followers in overall. So just follow me. That's it. Thank you very much. And yeah.
Only 9,000 to go. I mean, we should be able to fix that with this conference now. That is fantastic. Thank you so much for your talk. I love the demos. I'm going to check in a minute if there's any questions from the audience, but we have a little bit of delay in the stream. But you mentioned at one point something like the future will tell if Qwik will survive. Do you think that people will should still put their eggs in the Qwik basket, or would it just fall back to React or like JavaScript if Qwik is no longer something that people will want to work on?
I think, first of all, Qwik does not requires some complicated learning curve. Okay, since again, if you know React, you know Qwik. It uses GS6, so it's make everything simplified and etc. 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 So to give it a shot for the Qwik, I think it's worth it. Okay, to try it. build pet projects. If you want to build some, let's say, your portfolio website, okay, to use Qwik for this, great tool. Okay, you out of the box, believe me, you will have image optimizations, for the images to be downloaded separately with the different sizes and stuff, depends on the speed and depends of the first image to be rendered as fast as possible for the Google search optimizations and all this stuff. They handle all this. Okay, so basically, to have website with the this lighthouse tool that check your search engine readiness, to have all the 100 scores in all aspects, it's very easy with Qwik. It's actually much easier than with any other framework I have worked with. So yeah, but to take it for the enterprise level application, I will still wait for it. By the way, Qwik is not the only one on the market.
Yeah, and actually, I think the next question maybe sort of like ties into that. So there's an audience question: how do you see future? What do you see that as a future with these new wave? I love that frameworks like Solid, Astro, Remix, Qwik, etc. Will they find their own application niche? Because Qwik seems like a good idea for internet traffic limited devices, for instance, mobile.
Also, yeah, it's a good idea. I believe that there's enough place for everyone on the market. But saying that, need to understand that some of it all depends on the community. Okay, and to say that, let's say I believe in technology and the concept they're using, I can't say that the Qwik is something that will hold forever. They might be. I really wish them. Okay, I'm familiar with the developers, with the creators, and the great guys, and they're doing a great job, and I really wish them all luck with this framework, of course. But I believe that there's going to be more than one framework like this, and the concept will be widely adopted by different frameworks. And also, I believe that let's assume that tomorrow React or Angular or Vue.js making this, they're using the same resumability and JavaScript streaming concept in their frameworks. So Qwik will become similar to the bigger ones. Okay, it's difficult to say how it will happen and what will happen. But I believe that for now, at least, they really can take the niche with for search engine optimization important for the people who are the SEO is important for them, for small and medium-sized websites. It's definitely a niche, good niche, and they will hold it, I believe, for quite a few years, and then who knows what's going on? Maybe they will left the only framework in the world, and everyone else will close their doors. Or probably in the 1 year, another framework will come and close everyone else.
And you mentioned that you know some of the maintainers and core contributors. Have you yourself contributed to the project?
Not yet. Thinking about it. That's why, by the way, one of the reasons why I created this talk, it's actually when the other topic, how you choose what the topic to talk about on the public as a public speaker or to write the article about is the things that I want to learn more than I know now. Okay, so I selected the topic, submitted, someone accepted, and then I need to go and make the research. Okay,
I think that there's a term for that. No, isn't it conference-driven development or conference-driven learning, where you pick a topic that is just far enough away from your comfort zone, and so you learn something new. Absolutely, I love that. That's a really good way of approaching giving talks, I think. Out of my own curiosity, does Dell give you any time to work on open source? So you would be able to work on this during work time?
Be honest, I'm new at Dell, only 2 months. Okay.
So maybe too early to ask.
Yeah, it's too early to ask. But I have to say that so far they supporting me being in part of the community. Okay, they're supporting me in some conferences, flying out and stuff like this. About the actually, the time dedicated to support open source projects, I don't know yet. It's in my pipeline to verify it.
Okay, to be continued. I think we had one more question. I'm wondering how this would work on slower networks. I suppose the experience would not be ideal. Do you have anything to say to that?
Okay, slower networks is I also was thinking about it, how it's going to act on the slow networks. How slow network should be, then the JavaScript file of the size of less than a kilobyte, less than half of the kilobyte, not the megabytes, okay, kilobytes. It will take time to download into your client. I believe the main problem would be not with the download time, but with latency, with the connection, with the interaction. Say, hey, let's connect, and now let's bring it to me. Even this is actually solvable. You can say, you can actually configure your application to say, these files have to be downloaded as soon as HTML up and running, okay, without waiting for interaction. So you can get the same user experience like you have in any other single page application when you need to wait a little bit till the entire page is downloaded. It's kind of preloading what we have, for example, in Angular, in React, you can use lazy loading, meaning only when you get to the page, navigate to the page, you download the entire content, and then you might be with a slow network kind of stuck with no action. Okay, you click on the navigation, and then it takes a second or two, and then you have the page. It's mainly happened because of the latency and download time. But also you can make the preloading and say, okay, this is the lazy loading, but I want you to start loading as soon as the main page is downloaded and visible and interactive and running. Start downloading all other JavaScripts, everything that configured as lazy, just start downloading it as soon as possible. When user will navigate to the pages, it will be already available for the application to generate and run. So this functionality and this configuration is available in Qwik too. So it's something that up to you to play with, okay? Up to developer, of course.
Awesome. Well, thank you very, very much. We don't have any more questions. So thank you for your session. And I hope that you will join us in the platform today still for other sessions. Do I see you in Vilnius tomorrow or the day after?
I'm currently, okay, what I need to do, okay, when I'm shutting up leaving the studio, I'm going to pack my bag, and I have a 1 hour taxi that will take me to airport, and I will fly. Oh. Yeah, but I'm gonna miss the dinner. Yeah, so I'm coming pretty late.
Okay, then so I will see you tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. Good luck on your travels, and thanks again.
Thank you. Have a good day.
This is all we got. Remember the revolution in our minds. This is all we got. Lock me out of this life institution. I am angry and I am illusions. Yes, I hate, but it's not a solution. Try my best, but I'm just a human. Oh, we don't need to say we're sorry. We don't need to worship ever stars. We don't need